Hey guys, welcome back to Hardly Working. As you can see, I got a new four-wheeler here. This is a 2006 Arctic Cat 400. I picked it up for the low price of $1,200, mainly because the carburetor needs to be cleaned. It doesn't start without brake fluid or whatever in the air box. And also it idles a little bit high. So those are both carburetor issues. So we're gonna have to tear into that. The other problem with this machine is when you turn the key on, you can see that the backlight illuminates for a couple seconds, it glitches out, and the dash is dead in there. There's nothing in there. It does not work. So that's the other problem. Other than that, this thing it's ready to go. I mean, it runs good, it rides good, CV boots are good, tires are good. Plastics are pretty good, like you're a little bit scratched, but headlights are good. So hopefully I can make a profit on this machine. Let's see if it'll start up right now. I just had it running a couple of minutes ago. As you can see, it's running a little bit rough. And there it died. That's a typical sound of one of the jets being partially clogged. So we're gonna go ahead and start tearing into this thing. I guess the only cosmetic issue I see with it is the seat has a couple tears in the back, but that's the only thing I can find. I hate messing around when the gas cap is underneath here and you can't get your tank to tip up far enough, but I like where they put the gas tank on this thing. Taking out the seat here will give us access to the carburetor. Since the previous owner had been using it by starting it with ether in there, this is already off, but the connectors are still there, so that's ready to go. We'll set this off to the side, and then this is already off. Makes it a little easier. And we can access our air filter, which I'm probably gonna go ahead and replace. It's kind of wet in there, I'm not really sure why. So the first thing I can see that we need to do is take these side panels off, which are actually part of the front panel, which sucks. Let's go ahead and pop off this Phillips screw for the air box. Should release this boot off of here. Oh, it already came off of there. Wondering how this thing comes out of here. Interesting kind of boot design there. It's gonna be kind of hard for you guys to see, but I'm getting this out of here. It's little Torx, tiny little Torx in there. Got it off. There's the airbox. Just like that, we have the airbox out. That airbox is gonna have to be cleaned. Look at that. That's nasty. Okay, now there's access to our carb right there. Get a better look at this. There's the carb. Here is the here's a tube for something. I don't know what it's for. There's the automatic choke wire, the throttle cable. The fuel line coming from the back is right here. Just unscrew that. Yep, I loosened that up. Now the carb is completely free. So it's leaking fuel as you would expect when you tip it upside down. But I'll release these fuel lines here. Pop this fuel line off of here. I just don't know how this little thing works. I think it's just a pinch clamp, but I've never seen anything like this. Okay, now all we have to do is release or unplug this automatic choke, which goes down. Got the zip tie right here, which will bring me down to here. Got another zip tie. Connector right here. Got that unplugged. Pull that through. Now the automatic choke is disconnected. All we should have to do is unscrew this little cover and take the throttle assembly off here. Unscrew this little black cover. And you just pull this back and release little guy right there, and that comes right out. Now our carb is completely free. Let's bring it to the table. So in a matter of 8 to 10 minutes, I already have the carb out of this thing. Already digging into it, so it's a pretty good time, I'd say. It's way better to have a towel. You kind of have contrast against the color of the carb. It makes it easier to see what you're doing, I think. It's kind of a random thing, but this has been into before. I can definitely tell that. Screws are halfway stripped. It's a very similar carb to the one I did on my other Arctic Cat. Okay, let's pull this thing off of here. Okay, not too bad. Doesn't look too nasty in there. That's a good sign. But what we really want to see is these jets. So let's pop these jets out of here. That one is mostly clean. And I'm thinking this is going to be our guy right here. That's clogged. Well, neither of the jets was clogged. Actually, we have one more jet in there. I'm lying. I am a liar because there's another jet in here. And there's your culprit. That guy is completely clogged. No daylight through that. So that's when I grab my itty bitty brushes here, little carb brushes, and shove that needle through there. Take my brake cleaner. You see a little bit of daylight in there now? That is a cleaner, way cleaner of a jet. Alright, what looks to be all the jets is clean. So I'm gonna throw this back onto here. It's nice and tight. Drop this long one back in there. So I'm putting this thing back together. I'm thinking that 90% of the problem here is the bad gas. That's some old gas. It smells really bad. There's no problems with this carburetor, so I'm thinking it's from the bad gas. But it's still good to go through this thing. So let's go see if I can find a place to drain the tank from. Okay, looks like I'm using my other fluid extractor. So this goes down into here. So we're sucking fuel into here. And then we're gonna get on the fuel line for this as well. So let's get some of that taken off of there and see what size it is. Still sucking fuel out of this thing. This is already up to here. Little tank. It's a pretty big gas tank on this thing. Okay, so while we wait for that, let's go ahead and pop this dash hood off of here, because I think I have a trick to fix this little gauge cluster that I heard about online. Okay, once I got the key off of there, there's two little push screws underneath here. I gotta get out. And one's missing, actually, it looks like. Didn't work like it was supposed to, but it's out. So now, I think what I can do is, according to this guy I saw on YouTube, all you actually have to do is unplug this cable right here overnight, plug it back in, and the system resets, which allows it to work again. So I mean, that'd be pretty great if that worked. I was able to get that unplugged there, so we're just gonna leave that sit overnight, and when I come back tomorrow with my new fuel line, I can hopefully get it running, as well as get it, the gauge cluster working. Can wash it up and have this thing sold in a couple days. We'll see how much profit we can make off this thing. Everything just looks pretty dang good down there. It's dirty, but it's all there. So I'm gonna throw the carb back in. The boot going from the carb to the engine looks fairly clean. So we're gonna leave it that way. So let's get this throttle connected back up. Might have to adjust it actually. You can also do some adjusting with this little thumb screw. So not gonna worry about this little piece too much. Okay guys, so I actually figured out if you just hook up the extractor to the inlet of the fuel, or the outlet of the fuel, it works perfect. So this is my second, I already filled one full, now I'm getting more out of it. The tank was pretty dang full, so a lot of old gas. All right, it's a couple days later and a couple pieces of plastic removed later, I guess, if that makes sense. And I've come to the conclusion that the engine was not running correctly because of the old boot, the place where the pulse line connects, which is right here, was cracked. So it was allowing more air to enter the engine. So the air fuel mixture was off. So I went ahead and removed that. As you can see, ordered up a new one. Should bolt right on there. I struggled to get it off a little bit, but we got it off. And also the pulse fuel pump was indeed bad. So fuel was not getting up to the engine the way it should have. So I got a new one of these. I originally got one from my local hardware store. It was $55, and it wasn't even the right one. So, but it worked. It didn't have quite the orientation of where the pipes come out, so it looked kind of janky. This was $10 on Amazon, so I should have just waited and got it with the rest of my parts, but I guess now I'll have an extra high quality one as a spare. So this goes in here, and it supplies fuel to the engine while pumping it using the force of the pulse going from the vacuum of the intake. So let's go ahead and pull this napkin out of here. And I got a little burr from hitting it. I gotta clean that burr off there, and we can mount up our new piece. Actually, I wanna put this napkin back in there because I'm gonna do a little bit of sanding and I don't wanna get anything in the engine. I'm just gonna sand this little burr off of here now. One more burr, pull that out. Bolts still go in there nicely. All right, have a ratchet here, tighten that up. So this little barb goes into here like so. Now I'm gonna mount this guy here. I think I'm just gonna use some of these little plastic push connectors. And they just push in, so I think this will work. All right, it took a little bit of tinkering. Had to adjust the fuel mixture screw quite a bit ways out to give it more fuel. And now that all of our, there's no leaks in our intake manifold, it starts right up. Oops, gotta turn the key on. Has a nice low idle. So which allows me to go like this with the shifter without it moving forward and backwards. Now it's in forward. Moves forward. Neutral. Reverse. There's neutral. And then also revs right up too. So runs good now. Okay guys, a couple days later, I got this thing running. I didn't film part of it, but had to get it going. So, a little review. I bought this thing for $1,200. I purchased a new fuel pump for it. I also bought a new air filter and fuel lines. So that's the only thing I have into this. It was about $100 into it. So like I said, I replaced all the fuel lines, and I also drained the gas tank. The fuel in there was pretty bad. So that was part of the cause. So the cause of it not running was the fuel pump, the fuel lines. There was leaks in the fuel lines. I think it was air leaks. Needed a carb clean. I think some of the jets were clogged. So a combination of all those things caused this thing to not run and not want to start. But I got it all cleaned up now. The plastic's cleaned up. It's all put back together. The racks are back on. Everything is in working condition. And now, it fires right up. So this guy is ready to sell. So I got this listed for $2,600. I have about $1,300 into it. And if you haven't seen this already in the background, I just picked up this other quad today. This is a 2014 Suzuki King Quad 750. I've never had a Suzuki before, so this is something new to me. I've already started tearing into the machine. I have a couple ideas of what it could be. It does not run. It does not run. The previous owner cleaned it up for me already, so it's pretty clean. He painted up this back rack. It was pretty rusty. He did not paint up the front rack, and it's kind of bent up, so got some work to do up here. It looks like kind of bent, but it's just, I think it's just the way it looks right now. Yeah, it looks like that rack is just kind of bent, and That side might be slightly lower. I don't know. It almost looks like it got into a little fender bender now that I look at it. I haven't looked at it like that before. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, that whole headlight is underneath it on that side. Might have something here that I did not know about. I'll have to look into that. So this thing turns on. It is fuel injected and has electric power steering, so it's a lot fancier of a machine. It's got LED headlights. Never worked on one that's new before, but as you can see, the battery sounds pretty low. The fuel pump sounds like it's pumping, no problem. He said he replaced that. So that seems to be working good. Along with this four-wheeler, I also picked up this from the same guy. This is a 2004 Polaris 120, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. So I got both these machines for $3,500. And this one is ready to hit the road already. I already got it listed up for sale. You gotta give it a little bit of throttle here. I know why. Safety is not on here. So that thing runs good. So that is part of the package deal that I don't even have to worry about. It's ready to go. But we got to get this four-wheeler going now. So that'll be in the next video. So hopefully I'll make some money on this one if I can get it sold. So now that it's winter, I'm done with sports. After school, I can just come home. Got a lot more time on my hands. So that's why I'm starting to get more into this flipping mindset like I do every winter. And I have a lot of fun doing this. This is kind of my forte, is working on little engines and tinkering with stuff like this. So I don't mind doing it at all. So thanks a ton for watching. If you're interested, the next video will be all about this four-wheeler. So if I'm lucky, I'll catch you in the next one.